Hey guys, Tony Maritato again. So let's continue our conversation about the E-Myth and get into the three classifications Michael Gerber, the author, uses to describe each personality. So first there's the entrepreneur, there's the technician, and there's the manager. We're going to talk about the entrepreneur today as that relates most closely to where you are if you're just thinking about starting this venture. So let me pull up a website on my screen. When we're looking at the definition, right? Seth Godin, another amazing author, marketer, philosopher, he describes the difference between the entrepreneur on one hand and the freelancer on the other. And I think this is an excellent description to distinguish the two characteristics. So a freelancer gets paid to do the work. Now, they can get paid extremely high dollar amounts. For example, we saw the Super Bowl not too long ago. You had Shakira, you had Jennifer Lopez. They were freelancers. They were working as singers, as dancers, as artists, and they were paid to do that work. They were paid millions of dollars, but if they didn't do the work, they didn't get paid. Now, on the flip side, you have the entrepreneur. Ray Kroc, the entrepreneur behind McDonald's. If he was still a freelancer today, he would be flipping burgers and making milkshakes, but he's not. He was an entrepreneur. He built a business. The business he built continued to pay him long after he was out of the business. So you want to understand, and you're going to float back and forth between the two roles. You're going to be initially a freelancer. When you leave employment as a physical therapist and you start your own practice, you would be considered self-employed. You would be the one treating the patients because you're the one generating income. But understand that that is a means to an end. There's a goal at the end. There's a light at the end of the tunnel. And you want to figure out how you go from being the freelancer, being the one doing the work, being the technician, to being the business owner, the entrepreneur. The entrepreneur builds a business that's no longer dependent on him or herself. If you get hit by a bus tomorrow, the business would continue into perpetuity because you've built systems to run the business. There's a huge distinction there, and one of the challenges is we believe as clinicians that we have something special. We have a gift, which you absolutely do. If you didn't, patients wouldn't be seeking you out. But the challenge here is the easy approach is to continue to deliver the service you deliver yourself personally. You can do that into your 60s, 70s, sometimes 80s. But if that's what you want to do, I would say that opening a business, starting a business is not the right direction for you. If you want to build a business, then capture the essence of what it is that makes you or your service special and figure out a way to allow other people to deliver that same experience. Now, I'm going to share kind of my business philosophy, not to say that this is your business philosophy. I'm going to explain how my business philosophy has changed over the years. You know, when I first came into business, my wife and I were both physical therapists. We started our practice back in 2001, 2002. We had very clear ideas about what we wanted to deliver. I would always say to new hires, look, if a client's walking by and they look inside, they should not be able to determine who is a physical therapy patient and who's a personal training patient, right? Our physical therapy patients should be doing functional activities. They should be lifting and carrying and bending and stooping and doing all the things that they would do in real life. Just like our personal training performance people. I don't care if it's an 80-year-old geriatric going through an agility ladder or an 18-year-old high school athlete going through an agility ladder. They both need agility. And so it was really important to us early on to package the experience that we wanted to deliver and then do it in a way that allowed other people to deliver our package. Now, with time, with maturity, with understanding that, you know, my goals changed. I didn't want to go from 1, 2, 3 locations to 100 locations, 500 locations. I wasn't trying to create a McDonald's. I wanted to create something that was personal, something that I could be proud of. And in that, I realized that if I wanted the best team available, I couldn't make that team just replicas of myself. So my business model had to pivot somewhere around the 5 to 7 year mark. We went from a philosophy of, look, this is what we do. You either do what we do or you find another job, to I'm hiring you as a professional. I trust what you do. It may not be what I do, but as long as I see value in what you are doing, I want you to be on the team. And so now I have a team of clinicians. We're all different. We're all independent. We don't all follow the same treatment philosophy. I have clinicians that are polar opposite of what I am. They treat completely differently than I do. While we don't see head-to-head on certain things, the outcome is the same. Their patients get well. My patients get well. Their patients love the experience. My patients love the experience. I realized that I was no longer in the business of delivering my treatment philosophy. If I wanted to get out of the day-to-day, if I wanted to move out of the role of the freelancer and allow others to develop, I had to give them the freedom. And so now I realize I'm not in the business of selling my treatment philosophy. I'm in the business of selling positive outcomes and meeting the patient's goals in any way that's appropriate. And so that allows me to give my clinical staff the freedom to do what they feel is best. And when you're looking at, we're not hiring assembly line workers. We're not hiring somebody to provide kind of that rote experience that they can just do without thinking anymore. We're hiring professionals. You have your doctorate degree in most cases. You are a professional. I'm not going to dictate what you do in patient care. What I am going to do is expect that you have a positive outcome, expect that your patient has a positive experience, and there's certain markers that I'm going to develop for my business to measure success. And just to give you an example, so I measure success obviously not with range of motion or strength or functional outcome measures. I measure success by completed plans of care. I measure success by low to no cancellation rates and no-show rates. If the patient, the client, is arriving and completing the program, I know they value what you're providing, and so I'm never going to get in the way of that. If I see increasing cancellations, increasing no-shows, incompleted plans of care, now I understand and I can see objectively whatever it is the clinician's doing is not meeting the patient's needs, and so now we need to reassess. Are we selling the wrong marketing message? Are you doing a bad job? Where is the disconnect here? Because at the end of the day, these clients are seeking us out, looking for us to help them meet their goals, and if we're not doing that, they're going to stop coming. So understand, there's a huge difference between the freelancer, who only gets paid when they do the work. While they could get paid millions, they still only get paid when they're working. The entrepreneur, whose responsibility it is to build a business that's not dependent on the individual. And then of course the technician, the person who's actually delivering the work, producing the goods. The technician and the freelancer are generally referred to as the same thing. And finally we have the manager. We're going to save that for later on because most of us are just early in the process. We're still trying to figure out, you're still trying to figure out whether you're the entrepreneur, whether you're the technician, whether you're the freelancer, where are you in the journey? And then what is it at the end of the day that you want? So you've heard me say it before. For me, I go into the clinic, I still have a hand in patient care, but I would say I'm more of a hobbyist. I treat patients as a hobby because I enjoy it. It's exciting to me. I love the creative aspect of it. If I ever became financially dependent on treating patients, I believe that would negatively impact my ability to deliver an unbiased plan of care. So I run the business for my financial well-being, for the stability of my family, to pay for the things that I need to pay for in life. I treat patients because I enjoy treating patients. I try to keep those two worlds separate when possible. All right, guys, catch me on the next video. We're going to continue through kind of the philosophy of the E-Myth Revisited book, and then we're going to get into some drills and some mechanics so you guys can really take the information and apply it to a PT practice, an OT practice, an SLP practice, whatever it is that you ultimately want to achieve. Guys, I'll catch you on part 3.